Hey everyone, Jewel Mayberry here, back with another cool astrology video. And we're talking today about Sun conjunct Moon in the birth chart and what someone is like that has this aspect going on. So Sun conjunct Moon is an interesting one because these people are born at the time of the monthly eclipse. So you have to really look at which planet, either, the sun in astrology, we referred to the sun as a planet, which planet comes first, which planet has the lowest degree. If it's the moon, then the moon is going to be leading because it is the stronger planet of the two. It's exerting a greater influence. If it's the sun, then it will be the sun that's leading. So the moon is our instinct. The moon is our feelings. It's our mind. It's our emotions. It's how we think and feel. The sun is our ego, our expression, our drive, our energy. It is really the ego thrust we put out into the world. It's our power. It's our action. And when these two come together, we see somebody who's very instinctive. Someone who is very sure about their feelings. Because there's a lot of emotional congruency here. The emotions and the expression are very much the same. These people tend to be more emotionally simple because they understand themselves more easily and they are just less complex. Now, you have to look at the entire birth chart because you can have somebody with the sun conjunct moon and they can be incredibly complex. But we're just talking about one thing at a time when I do these videos. So these people, their will and their emotions are very much aligned. What they want and the way they feel is very much the same. So they tend to be able to get what they want fairly easily. That means they can reach their goals fairly easly. They don't have an issue with their, with wanting something, but not being able to emotionally get there. They tend to want what they know they can have. They tend to have what they want. They are just less complex. And this tends to show up in the way that they live their lives, in that if they set their mind to something, they just simply accomplish it. They really don't tend to set their goals too high. They're practical. They are able to keep their desires in check and have their desires match their ability. They very much wear their heart on their sleeve. They're emotionally simple and they're emotionally open. They're pretty transparent. You get a sense when you deal with them that they are fairly honest because there's not a lot of mental or emotional complexity there. So they are very apt to tell you how they feel, and that's how they really feel. They're honest about their emotions. They're very much also convinced that their experience in the world is everybody else's experience. They think, at least until a certain age, that everyone is really trying their hardest and is, striving to be the best, and that they think that like they do. It takes them some maturity to realize that other people are entirely more complicated than they are. they tend to be very self-contained as well. They can take care of themselves well. They can soothe themselves emotionally also very well. And they tend to have a good sense of being able to rely on themselves. They, especially in relationships, they can be very independent because they're very sure of their own wants and needs. And so they tend to not have, those codependent strains running through them that can, foster a more intimate relationship. But at the same time, there's, that presents its own issues. So, they can come off as kind of bossy, but that's not really what it is. It's really just an assurity. And they can make decisions and not consult their partner because they're just really sure about their place. So that's something that they need to pay attention to. And the sign emphasis is really important too, because you have these two really important parts of the personality, and especially if you have the ascendant here as well, especially you need to pay attention to the sign, because that is a huge part of the life. That is where the emphasis of the life is going to be. And whatever the ascendant ruler is that, if that is, with the sun and the moon, that is also, going to put a huge emphasis onto that particular area of life. Whatever house those are in, that's going to be, where it's at for these people. Now, the sun and the moon in the birth chart really talks about the relationship between the parents. This is what we really look to. And also Saturn, and Mars tell us about this, the father. And Venus can also tell us some about the mother. But mainly we look to the sun and the moon to give us information about the upbringing and the relationship between the two parents. When we have the sun and the moon conjunct in a birth chart, it is signaling that the parents were very much on the same page. They were very aligned. They usually had a very simple and easy flowing relationship, and they almost always stayed together. Now, you all have to look at everything because, this could be mitigated by, a crazy fourth house or, other factors, Saturn making stressful aspects. But for the most part, a sun and moon conjunction is signaling that the parents had a very, the parents got along very well. They had a very easy relationship, and the child, the person that has this in their birth chart, was brought up in an environment where, it was kind of a Ward and June Cleaver type of situation. So that is my analysis on sun conjunct moon in the birth chart, and I will be back very soon with sun opposite moon, and we'll go through all the sun and moon aspects and analyze all of them. I'll be back soon. You can find me on Facebook at Truth and Aspect Astrology and on the internet at truthandaspectastrology.com. And please subscribe. There's a little button down there. You just have to click it. Thank you. Bye-bye.